Dear friends, welcome and thank you for joining me. Recently, too many things are not going as we expected them to go because of COVID-19's pandemic. The disappointments and chronic stress of isolation increase the hopelessness and therefore mental health risks, as the World Health Organization stated on 14th of May 2020. So it seems to be the perfect time to talk about hope. Why? Because we need hope, especially in such situations of crisis and disappointments, when the old ways of survival and meeting our vital and mental needs are not working anymore. In such times, we need hope. We need hope to boost our capacity to act. We need hope to reduce anxiety and fears so that we can focus our energy. We need hope to support our relationships with people and to assign meaning to our efforts, to refresh the criteria of our achievements, to boost anticipation of solution and to search for better alternative strategies. So, what is hope? In general, we can define it as a positive cognitive and emotional stance towards the future. The mature hope, indeed, is a great human capacity that helps us to overcome fears and hardships. But, unfortunately, not any hope is as good. Why? Because not everyone knows that pain, disappointment and anxiety are, in fact, important instruments of hope. They signal us to protect our needs, they stimulate us to act and adjust, and by adjusting, we naturally reduce our unpleasant feelings. And here's the problem starts. Because we people, we don't like disappointments, we don't like anxiety and pain. They're simply unpleasant to us and therefore we try to avoid them. At the same time, our brain tries to avoid any action as it takes energy and efforts. By doing so, our mind gets trapped by immature forms of hope, namely by hopelessness and aggravation of a problem, by passive hope and by naive assertiveness. Unfortunately, those forms of hope are toxic because they tend to cause disappointment, anxiety and depression even. Let's see those forms of hope in details. One experiences hopelessness as helpless fear of dying, as well as a fear of living and acting. One's fantasy aggravates the problem with frightening dreams of the worst-case scenarios, suggesting an inability to do anything about it. Such hopelessness can be resulted from, let's say, experience of severe deprivation or from interrupted, undefined or unbalanced plans. So it is easy to understand why 35% of people in China and 45% in the US reported severe distress in COVID-19, as they were indeed deprived and indeed interrupted. The passive hope relies on will of God, wisdom of universe, or other people, be it parents, doctors, social workers, or whoever. In this case, one hopes that everything will be as he wants, that he will get back everything that he lost, or that someone will come and help. Such dependent passive hope is often resulting from their experience of overprotection and fear of discomfort that limits one's own experience of dealing with difficulties. The next form of toxic hope is a naive assertiveness. Such person claims self-sufficiency, ignoring and despite his own limitations. He believes that he is special, and to compensate lack of own experience and skills, he appropriates someone else's successes, saying, if they did, I can do too. He depreciates others and exaggerates own worth, claiming that he deserves more. Both passive expectation and naive assertiveness are indeed reducing the immediate anxiety and pain. And this what makes optimistic, assertive and confident approach of Martin Seligman's positive psychology so attractive and so popular. Yet, this is exactly what makes it dangerous. Because without discomfort and anxiety, one does not feel urged to invest any efforts, any time in dealing with real challenges. While focusing on good things, one naturally tends to give up or to procrastinate any realistic effort to adapt, and sooner or later will fail into deeper disappointment, as expected miracles are not happening and heroic pathos does not solve any problem. Besides, such mature hopes ignore the reality and distances from other people, as they can break the sweet dreams by realistic feedback. Yet, our brain evolutionary responds to such alienation by anxiety and depression in order to stimulate one to look for the company in order to survive. Mark Manson sums it up quite nicely, saying that the desire for the more positive experience is itself a negative experience. So, what is a mature hope? What can we really rely on? After all that we discussed, it seems that mature hope is a capacity, first of all, to welcome the anxiety, fears, and discomfort as a signal of an important change. Secondly, it is capacity to understand what need can be threatened by these changes or situation, to search actively for realistic resources in any given situation, to focus on development of our own capacities in order to meet our own actual needs, and its capacity to choose and to act in order to protect and to meet activated needs, and thereby to reduce the disappointment, anxiety, and pain. It means, indeed, that mature positive cognitive and emotional stance towards the future, in our definition, employs the understanding of the word positive as it is meant in Positive Psychotherapy after Nossrat Peseschkian. Positive, in this case, derives from the Latin positum. Neutral from the positus, that means something placed, something that takes place. In other words, something given or realistic. In this context, the disappointment is a capacity to alarm one that his old way of protecting and meeting mental needs is not effective anymore. For example, Greg experiences anxiety since his daily routines were severely interrupted by isolation. His order was broken, his schedule was broken, and literally he doesn't know what to do anymore. And I asked him, what of your needs were threatened and wounded since you broke your schedule? And Greg replied, I cannot trust anything anymore. I can't trust myself even because I can't control the situation, I can't control myself. I was curious then how the order helps you to trust reality and yourself. Greg answers after some thinking that when he was breaking his schedules in childhood, his mother was going crazy and punished him. She told that if he doesn't follow the right order and schedule, he is useless and people will not trust him ever. Then I asked him if he can come up with any alternative idea how to rebuild the trust in life rather than following habitual order and schedules. And Greg indeed did come out with some ideas. At first, he decided to create his own schedule, first time in his life, that would use the benefits of new situation. Secondly, he actually didn't like the fact that he's dependent from his order, and therefore he decided to learn to trust the chaos. So he did schedule the chaos hour every day to learn to go with the flow. That meetings helped Greg to rebuild his trust and to boost solid, mature hope in his capacities. Yet you would not always need a psychiatrist in order to build your hope. Just practice 5E whenever you feel frustrated, disappointed, or anxious. What is 5E actually? First E is examine. Examine the situation. What is not going as you expected? How does it go? These simple questions will refocus you from fantastic ideals to raw reality. Then evaluate what needs make this happening so important for you. And this will help you to understand that goals are not that important, but your need is important, and what particular need. Then employ the potential of reality. How can you meet your needs in new situation, in this particular situation? Then go to the most important stage. Exercise and notice. What do you do? What are the results? Only practice provides the real experience of ability to respond to any situation, and only such experience provides a solid ground for mature, real hope. And as you practice, do not forget to expand. What will you do different next time? What capacities will you develop? How? What new perspectives will it give to you? So go on and practice 5E, build your solid hope and enjoy changes. Good luck! And one more thing for professionals. Dear colleagues, what if someone cannot go by himself with 5E? If one is truly depressive, so depressive that he cannot even imagine those upliftingly positive emotions. If one fails to engage himself in anything, to build any relationship, and to discover any meaning, and to accomplish even one simple task. If when approached by his surroundings with those naive positive affirmations, he naturally feels actually even less understood, even more alienated and helpless. What shall we do to help such a person to mature his hope so that he would be able at the end to deal with his own hardships? First of all, provide the patient with an actual repetitive physical experience that would validate his feelings, pain and discomfort, that will tell him that he is tolerable and normal. How can you do so? Give enough time and space for the patient to reveal and to reflect his painful feelings. Allow, share and survive together with the patient his most painful sufferings and impulses. Address, share and name even the most difficult and painful feelings. Be vividly interested and engaged with the natural eye contact, even under stress. Secondly, in the therapeutic relationship, it is hardly important to trust the patient's ability to deal with the painful experience and to find the way to meet his vital and psychological needs in any situation. Thirdly, it is important to refocus the patient from disappointments to capacities. Capacities hidden actually in his sufferings and pain. For instance, you can encourage the depressed person for his capacity to experience the pain of loss, and at the same time for the capacity to reduce disappointments by avoidance of emotions and hope. Refocus the patient from unmet expectations and unfulfilled goals to his vital or psychological needs that are threatened actually in this situation and make him suffer. And finally, engage the patient into the 5E practice to generate the actual practice and experience of hope. By this balanced approach, we can help our patients and clients to develop and to mature their capacity to hope so that they would be able not only to survive in their crises, but even to benefit from them. I hope that you've got some useful ideas from this video. If so, then please share them in comments below, like the video and subscribe for the channel of Positive Psychotherapy to learn more from the leading therapists all over the world. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.